Yeah, there's two missing.
Well, it's Cassie, is Appicelli joining yet?
Yep, I'm letting him in right now.
Okay, so we have one, he's got a medical reason for not being here, so. I told him he could join us remotely if he chose.
All right, he should be in, but his microphone's not on. Yeah.
Scott wasn't coming because he's out of town,
Down in Florida.
but
Well,
everybody,
Dean,
yeah,
well, he was
he,
supposed to be here.
yeah, he said he was coming.
Yeah, so I thought.
Cassie, can you give Dean a reminder?
Couldn't be like Scott last time.
Yeah, maybe he did, he may have
Oh,
just
I'm supposed to
forgotten.
be there.
All right, I'll shoot him a text.
Go ahead and get started, or
Yeah. that's
let's go ahead and get started. Okay, call the meeting to order. Comments, so is Tony the only one online? Is everybody else?
I think he's the only one.
He's the only one there. I don't see anybody else on there.
Okay.
Oh,
Anybody else?
Just Tony.
Just Tony,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? John, any public comments?
No.
Okay, all right. Meetings, or minutes from the last meeting.
Motion to approve.
I second
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
that.
All opposed? Nay. Okay, minutes have been approved. All right, items of meeting, or items of business, sorry. Proposed language amendments. Mike's not here. Pete, are you gonna lead us on this?
Well, from what I understand from Mike is that the last outstanding issues you really had was for the outdoor uses.
Right.
So what he provided to you was a kind of a red line or orange line, as the case may be on this one. That some of the revisions that was made, that's the outdoor use has to be consistent with the hours and operations of the use. That way you won't have two competing uses there. Some of the
When I
other,
printed it, the red line
Yeah, I
didn't
was gonna
show
say,
up for them,
yeah.
so I don't know if you just, it's only a couple things.
A7.
I mean, I think we've looked over it
We
a
looked-
couple
and I-
times.
And I looked over
Still.
it. and thought it looked
I
good,
printed
but I
it
didn't-
and it came out the same both ways. I printed both. I'm like, why did it print like that? It just like accepted them. It was weird.
So on the first sheet, A7, under section 406 for accessory uses, that's where he brings in the hours of operation. And then A12 is removed. And one of the reasons, the hardship waivers and such like that waiver from, from any requirement and such, you folks have the ZBA. If you don't use the ZBA, then you're putting yourself in the position of having to handle each one of these or the zoning administrator to walk through. So you might as well just, if they can't meet these standards, then go to the zoning board. with this, other than come darken your door or tell Paula how she's doing everything else. Or how she's treating people differently. But now 815, additional outdoor lighting is prohibited. That way, it's controlled under the use of the streetscape there. If they want to come and petition the city for for lighting as part of that overall site development, I think that's easily worked through administratively.
So I think part of that additional outdoor lighting that we were talking about was having the additional neon lights and the
Right.
different things like that to try to draw people in, that we were really
Right.
against that. So.
Right. And so, the city gets its, its stamp of approval on that. The furniture and fixtures under 16, that designed for outdoor use. He has metal and wood in there, durable materials such as metal or wood. I kind of lean towards, you might want to just pick one. You don't want Bob making picnic tables in his backyard. These should be what's called UL listed, meaning that the company has essentially said, these are for sitting. So, you may want to put that directly to metal, or you want to say that it's UL listed, and that'll be any picnic table you buy from Menards or anything like that. Because otherwise, who knows what people build.
Yeah, we might know.
I think the other thought we had is that we didn't like want stuff that didn't match. I don't mean like everybody has to have exactly the same look, but
Somewhat
you know what I mean? We
aesthetically.
kind of wanted a theme or
Right.
consistency. I thought that was.
Yeah, because we really didn't want the plastic or anything like that.
Yeah, we
that
didn't
was
want
one of the things that we
umbrellas
talked-
that say
right.
Bud Light on
Right.
them or, you
Yeah, plastic
know.
would break and wood, maybe pellet wood.
And that's where then I would
So,
go
yeah.
to something that is one specific material.
Is it metal now that we have?
Yeah,
It's
it's like an
metal and wood.
aluminum. It's
Well,
like a-
I don't think it's
Light
wrought
metal.
iron, but it's,
No,
it
no, no,
looks
it-
like wrought iron. You know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah, but most of the stuff is Chinesium anyways, right?
I get what you're saying.
Okay, so let's
I don't know,
write
I guess
that
what
in
I'm
there.
saying is I don't know what you call the material, whether it's metal or,
But I
but
think
it
it would be
is like a
metal,
metal.
yeah.
I would suggest UL listed metal product of a black or gray make.
I
Now,
would
what you-
agree.
What you run into though, is what if somebody has kind of a themed use where they want to have a bright blue, a bright yellow, a bright pink.
And see, we've been spoiled because we've been the only one
Right.
who has purchased the items and stuck them out there. So that gave us the look we were looking for. How's that?
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know how you guys want to call it, but I mean, that's kind of.
Well, with this here, with what Mike's suggesting, so would we need to go right now and actually make a motion to have the language revamped from
You can
the
go-
metal
we-
and wood to just metal as to like the product that we have right now and the UL listing?
We can say UL listing or manufactured.
Okay.
We can figure out the language, but you gotta remember, you folks are getting ready to set the public hearing for these.
Right.
So we can make changes, and even at the public hearing, as long as it's not substantive change from that, if you change product or anything, it'll be fine. So we can work on the language of that. And you can still set the public hearing. But is that it, black or gray, metal, and we'll come up with some sort of language on the manufacturing. I started thinking about the UL listing, usually that's something that has some mechanical component in it. So
Okay.
we'll come up with something. And some of the things I talked with Mike, generally designed for people setting up.
Yeah.
So we'll get that. And then, the umbrellas and awnings must be of a solid color or free of advertisements.
I think that's what we were trying to get at,
Yeah,
is we
right.
didn't want like a bunch of umbrellas down there with different advertisements on them or whatever, just a nice.
Sure.
Go blue, green.
The first thing somebody's gonna do is come up with something that's just the greatest thing in the world, and you won't believe how well this will work. You guys are gonna be on your heels again, trying to figure it out. There it goes. And then the city has the right to revoke the. All of the other stuff, this was what Mike says is the final bit, so I'm not as familiar with all the other language amendments, and we strongly encourage you to set a public hearing so we can get some wheels on the list.
Now that language amendment right there is zoning, or is that,
That's zoning.
okay,
I'm reading that. I
because
don't-
the outdoor seating, I was thinking was,
That is covered under
Okay.
accessory uses and structures in the zone.
okay, but then, so the outdoor seating ordinance is separate. This is the rules for how the outdoor seating will look. Right,
Yep.
I'm debating whether I want to be contrarian or not.
Uh-oh.
Well, so the metal thing, I mean, we have some furniture that we bought at our cabin that's plastic,
Right.
but it's very well made. It's not the cheap plastic chairs that would, and I understand we don't want those,
Right.
but chairs made out of this stuff would be, I think would be nice, you know what I mean, for somebody. So I don't know as we want to limit, but I don't know how to say that it can't be the cheap plastic chairs.
I remember we
You know
were
what I mean?
also saying maybe no plastic because storms and stuff,
Yeah,
weathers could.
That was part of the
Move
big
down
thing,
and-
especially with being downtown. You've got a tunnel. You know, honestly, it's a valley, a tunnel.
Well, I'll tell you
Right
what
through there.
happened about 3 weeks ago when we had those high winds. I came through town about 2 or 3 o'clock. No one had paid attention that there was a storm coming up at their establishments and they didn't fold down the umbrellas. There was a brand new Z28 sitting in front of that business and that umbrella went.
Wow,
So that's how easy the wind can blow something into a car or whatever else. And fortunately, the car wasn't hurt.
But still,
again, I'm not talking the cheap plastic.
right,
I mean,
yeah.
This, our table that we have, you, well, wind would carry it less than a metal.
I think you would call that composite.
Yes.
It is,
Yes,
composite,
really.
yes, that would be the right term.
But we're also trying to keep it as to what we already have established for use to
Right.
keep it more
Right.
together. And
Well, it says in here, basically, it says following the theme of the city, what they've already laid out. So I think that's what I see.
If we're not.
So it has to come to us first?
At my understanding, isn't this administrative or is under the accessory uses and structure?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is I don't think that you'll. I mean, once they have it out there, it's harder to say no, right?
Right.
right, but for conformity of what we have right now, it's supposed to be in compliance with what we already have.
Right, so I'm just trying to figure out how
So-
that's gonna work.
Yeah,
If, like you said, if we don't like it, we'll just say no.
yeah,
So my thought goes to, how, I mean, because I'm gonna get that call, right?
Well,
Right.
Actually, the
And
planning.
Paula has to have a
commission-
reason for saying no.
Right.
So
No,
the-
the
Can't
plan-
just say
The planning
no.
commission actually approves that. It's under
Okay.
11.
Okay, so it would come here before it ever got put out.
Yeah, right there.
Oh, okay, wait, okay. Back up. If it's proposed as part of a site plan application, it's reviewed by you folks, but if
Oh,
it's
right.
adding like Twilligers, then it's all you. So I would suggest making it as clean and
Right.
straightforward
I
as possible.
agree.
No ambiguity, no general design. It is designed for people to set their butts on. And then it needs to be of a
so that's
durable material or a
Right.
manufactured basis in black or gray. And
I mean,
What
'cause
if- what if it's in
you
white?
just think about like cushions getting out there and you think of the guy who's
Yeah.
like really great about cleaning it up, making it look nice.
Yeah.
And then you have the people who maybe let it sit out there, winter, summer, whatever, stuff's blowing off of it. And I mean,
right.
what do I have to make that go away?
Right.
I guess is where,
We just have to be detailed.
all right, so my mind goes to, administering it, like. I mean, I'm not really sure it matters to me what color you pick or what, but
Right.
how do I administer that once someone starts putting that stuff out?
And
And
I
it,
agree
and
with
it,
you.
because all of, like I said, right now it's been easy, because it's all our stuff. So if somebody comes to us and wants to put something different out, it's gonna be a little bit different.
I agree with you 100%. Doesn't matter if they put black metal, but if they don't take care of it and
Yeah,
get it all dented up and it looks crappy, it's not.
I mean, we got some umbrellas right now down there, but they belong to the city that need, we'll probably just end up tossing them and replacing them next year, but.
Yeah, I open them, and I finagle with them, but they open.
Well, I mean, that's what you get when they sit
Right.
outside all summer and,
Yeah.
somebody just needs to let us know if they have one that needs replaced, because we have some up here, but.
We just have those little.
But we
bars,
won't
but it's
have
still
that
open.
control once someone else takes over putting their seating out there.
So we just need to have like a paragraph instead of a sentence.
Yeah, you can't put looks crappy in the zone.
Right.
Yeah, you can't. And
Right.
that's where you have to rely on, enforcement to say something is
Well
typically. the zoning.
maintained.
What, yeah, well maintained, and even there's a degree. As
Right.
long as
My well-maintained and your well-maintained.
Oh, that's a big definition.
Yes.
Very true.
so the material's not an issue, the color is, or you take with white.
I don't
composite.
care
You
about
don't
the
see-
color, but it doesn't. It's gotta be,
And so, and if this is racist, I apologize ahead of time. I mean, so back to whoever said the blue and we get a Mexican restaurant, they like to decorate with different colored tables and
Fiesta looking.
Fiesta looking tables, they might want to do an orange and a bright blue and a,
Yeah.
and
I
that
don't
fits
care
their
about
theme.
that.
That's part of the, yeah.
That's their theme. I mean, that's,
I'm not opposing that either, but it's already stated here that we didn't want
I get it, yeah.
all sorts of different colors. We wanted it, and
Just a
that's what it's
solid-
stating
yeah, just a
as
solid.
just a solid,
Mhm.
sorry, no holds bar. That's what we want, and this is
Your
what we want to stick
decorations will
with.
have to be your,
Exactly. You're on the inside decorating. We're taking care of the outside, and this is how we want it to conform with,
I mean-
with it.
for the most part, we're allowing you to put seating on our sidewalk
Right.
or in a public space. And we're saying you can do this if it meets X, Y, and Z.
Correct.
Right?
And yes, to me it does. And the question comes in is as long as the city has tables and chairs and umbrellas, why would anybody really want to take the expense to do it?
Right.
You know, I mean, it takes somebody really wants a big change to go out and spend $300, $400, $500 for a couple tables and chairs when they're right there in front of their business.
Right.
But I don't know if that's the intent is to get the city out of that situation.
No, the
Okay,
intent is that, you
because I missed
know,
the last meeting.
no,
Yeah.
no, we
No,
don't
that
want
wasn't-
to stop doing that, but
But do we want
we
to
may
promote it?
have.
We'd like to have more.
Right.
Well,
So
and we
honestly,
may have
yeah.
other people that want to do that, but like, so, well, I mean, for right now, I look at, so let's look at PDPs as an example. They have some out there, but they're on their
Right.
property. We're not controlling that.
We can't-
We're
And we can't
controlling, right,
Control
we're
that.
talking about what's in
right
our,
of way.
yeah, it's on the city sidewalk, it's,
Mhm.
so that, right, Pete?
So-
That's what we're talking about. Like
Yeah.
PDPs has an outside seating area that's right in front of their, I mean, they have the composite, what,
Tables,
yeah,
bench tables.
but we're not regulating that. That's my understanding. We're just trying to regulate what's in the,
Right. What we've already established is in the right of ways, and it's not on private property per se.
All for that. Like, as an example, John.
I mean, if he
he's
was
got a
able
big area
to,
in front of his store, so whatever he did or wanted to do, anything, that really was because it's private property. It's not city property.
Yeah, I'm gonna change my thoughts. Sorry. I
That's
mean,
okay.
Being that it's on the sidewalks and this is more because I don't think, kind of something Pete said earlier, I don't think we can write it up that makes it sound, that makes it controllable, that makes it so Paula can give somebody a good answer, right? It's probably better to do metal, black or gray.
just putting the conformity as
Put
to
the
what we already
conformity.
have and
Yeah.
just, as they would say, running with it.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Running
mean,
with what
we
we've
we
got.
know that we're not all gonna be able to get that same table and
Right.
chairs we have.
But
Because
you're gonna
things
still
are
try to
gonna
get close.
change. Yeah,
Because you guys, I'm
But
sure,
the
still have a
look, the
place that you
color-
have ordered from in the past
right.
that you might be able to get with and things like that,
The
like we
color
talked
scheme,
about
the
before.
look, that kind, I
Right.
mean, I think it's kind of cool when you drive into town and it just
Oh, yeah, and
looks nice.
they're matching,
Yeah,
you know, especially right there and even across the street.
Yeah.
You know, yes, PDPs is different because they're all on their own.
right.
They've
I
been
mean,
on their own for years and had that stuff out there themselves,
Mhm.
you know, anyways. So do
So
we
if a
need to
business
make,
right now, like PDPs wants to put out their own seating on their own property, we don't have anything stopping that, right, Pete?
So you have a general ordinance for covering the public right of ways.
Right.
This would also apply to PDPs on private property. They want, you know, or say PDPs didn't have outdoor seating right now, and then they wanted to implement it. This
Okay.
would apply.
So it applies to future.
Yeah, it applies to future, so.
Okay,
so if it changes hands and they get rid of the stuff that they have now and then they want to do others.
Yeah.
so
It
it's
would need
not
to
just right
conform.
away then.
No,
It's-
it's,
okay.
from what I'm reading here, no, it's not, but see, your general ordinance covers the public right of way, which
Okay.
refers to this as well. I can work with Mike to make sure that that's clear in there. What exactly is happening. You can have different standards for that, but like, again, the culturally themed restaurant, they want something different. You know, you want to just let them do tablecloths.
I like the black and gray metal. Personally, so it makes it quite simple.
And honestly, a lot of the cities that I've seen that they actually have that outdoor seating, that's what most of them are. They're not the big bright, you know, to go with, it's the neutral gray, burgundy, you know.
See, I think
Umbrellas
it'd
and
look
things like
cool If
that.
you had red and white tables. and
Oh,
stuff, you know, in the
absolutely,
city, but
just
white
because of
would
what
be-
the city is, yeah, exactly.
Keep
You'd
it
end up having to
clean as-
really paint them things every year
Yeah.
and you, yeah, have a hard time keeping that clean.
Yeah, but by what we just said, you could,
Right.
No.
Right.
Right.
But if the city had started doing that, that was,
Right.
you know, that's what you'd be saying, and
And
that's
we're
why. I
only
said the black.
regulating it in the C1
I was
district.
gonna say Langsberg is black and red now, so with the umbrellas, we're all set.
Pete, just the C1
They
district.
changed it to black and.
I know. I know.
I mean, for the most part, this doesn't really affect, I mean, there's not too many people that even have room outside
Right.
of.
Right.
You know, John does, PDP's does, maybe Jimmy's, you know, there's a few.
Yeah.
But, and like, that's why I brought up PDP's because they already have some, so, but it won't affect them.
Right.
But anybody new that wants to, it would, so.
It would affect them if they wanted to change their seating though, would it not?
Not particularly, I mean, they still have an overall use there, so what do you mean change their seating?
Well, if they wanted to take the tables and stuff they had out and put something else different.
They have, they have. legally-
Established.
Yeah, they have established use, they're legally conforming, no, that would. Yeah, that'd be hard going after them for something like that, or just keep maintaining and upgrading, it'd be hard to make those things.
okay, so we're gonna do black and gray, metal, where Mike's gonna make those changes. And we should still be good for doing a public hearing.
We should, and we'll double check on some things there concerning the sidewalk versus offsite, just make sure we're not going down the wrong path. And then we'll come up with language concerning manufactured, and not only design for outdoor use, but design for outdoor use and setting people. So that we don't get something crazy.
Right.
Or lawn tractors. to-
Yoga balls.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that up in Traverse City. the other day. That was goofy as hell.
Yoga balls.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I did that for my son when he homeschooled, because it would get his energy. out of it. So that worked.
Yeah.
so we don't need a motion or anything to move on. do we?
Yeah, I got
Do
it
we-
in the wrong place. It's the third one on there. If you want to do it now, that's fine.
For scheduling the public.
Yeah,
hearing.
we need to schedule a public hearing if that's what you want to do.
Well, I'm just gonna follow the order, but.
That's fine. You
We
can
might as
come
well.
back. No, you can
Okay.
come back to it. if
Yeah,
you
yeah,
want.
yeah, okay, Ally, the update. Do we have a,
Yes, Mike provided you a memo, fairly basic memo that essentially said, you know, that 207 William Street is using the alley for extra parking. That the deeds, you know, this shows that the alleyway is accepting. The city has certain rights concerning the alleyway embedded at that. So where it really comes down to is that the city wants to take any action, they have to do it. It's gonna have to be some sort of legal action. You know, if we went down the zoning route of it, because this is a single family home, I forget it's using the 207, a single family, or
yes,
is it a business?
Right, but that's really not where the problem started. It started in the other house that has recently sold, which is
I thought that was.
207 is the small one.
Oh,
Isn't it?
where we're.
Yeah,
No, so no, it would not be, it would not be 207. I thought it was the house.
no, it's the other, so you have the vet's office and then you have a
Yeah.
2-story
Yeah.
with the garage facing the alley and a drive on William.
And there's been a trailer parked there for 3 months.
Okay. So what we're saying though is that zoning is not gonna be your help. You're gonna have to just take legal action. Just pure and simple.
Huh, I wonder.
Well, and I think that, that's why we're just having that discussion. We're just trying to see what we can do to accommodate and help people. And I mean, sometimes you just can't.
And, there's when if you're going through the legal process on that, if there is an argument towards that is their right, then the city has condemnation rights to that as well. That's a deep hole to dive in.
That's
Well,
just
so the
getting
big,
it.
so the bigger issue than the parking is, and it, maybe, I mean, it just sold, right? But when the guy was in there previous, he would purposely plow his snow and put big piles halfway across the alley.
And he should be taking the tax.
So that's.
So and at that point though, you're not supposed to be plowing across the road,
Right.
Right.
and that's technically an alley, so then that's where.
That's not a road.
Well, that's
But isn't
really
it
part of why
considered a
this
street?
came up,
I'm
right?
just telling you, it was just a hot mess. to
No,
talk
no, no,
about.
I understand that one, but
Yeah.
that is considered a street, right?
Alleys have different,
Yeah, I mean, it's
know.
not in our street system.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what
we
I
don't
was
get Act
wondering.
51 monies
you know.
for it. It doesn't have the
Okay.
same rules as the street, so, no.
the city just frankly needs to be prepared when something happens like that to immediately go after them with the legal action. It just needs to happen that way. I recalled, Paul talking to me about this and zoning out because, oh my gosh, those get to be such a pain in the butt to define that.
But it's not going away, and so since right now it's less of a problem than it was a bit ago, we're
Right.
kind of like still wanting to stay on it so that we can
If
Be
something
be ready,
else
like you
arises.
just said. I mean, we need to be prepared to deal with.
Right, but that's where I think you're gonna need beyond us, you're gonna actually need an attorney to write something up.
Right,
discuss
but
it,
so you
and-
were just my first,
Yeah.
let's see if there's anything we could do there.
Yeah.
And we've already had it surveyed, and, we've talked to the attorney who sent them a letter and that kind of thing, but, we're just trying to do the right thing and take care of everything.
So I'm trying to think of the term. So when government takes over, people still own it, but the government can do what they want. What is that called?
America.
Well, yeah, but
Well,
like if they want to run power lines down it, or
It's an easement.
an easement, that's what I,
Oh,
so
It's still,
it's not.
but if you're gonna, if you're going to place an easement without, their full authorization, that'd be eminent domain or condemnation. You're
Okay.
doing it for public purpose, but there's, in certain times you compensate the property owner for that amount. If that property owner rejects that compensation, then there's other mechanisms to get there.
I didn't, and partly frankly, I was a little surprised there wasn't something like that already in place. I mean, because to me, it may not be a road, it's an alley, but it's something everybody uses, right? And if you got somebody taking up half the alley, so there's a trailer park there, in the town. I walk down this alley like 3 times a day. There's a trailer park right there. While there's parking on the other side for the apartments, some guy was gonna park too deep. So the ass end of his car was sticking out, and there was barely enough room with the trailer sitting there and him sitting there for a car to get down that alley. Is there anything stopping them from doing that?
No, if they're blocking the fire lane,
I mean, because that's he didn't, he parked there for a little bit and then I think he decided this probably isn't a smart thing to do after I yelled at him. No, I'm just kidding.
Again, under law, roads and alleys have separate rights to them, so that needs to, it's beyond our zoning capabilities. It really needs to be
Okay.
substantiated.
Okay.
So there just needs to be something put in writing. So as soon as something does possibly happen, that it gets put through that way, correct?
Yep. The hard route.
Could be the hard knocks at times, but hey, you gotta do
right.
what you gotta do too, so.
So let's, nothing else on the alley. Let's move on to scheduling public hearing.
motion to schedule a public hearing.
Second that.
Should part of the motion be when?
Yeah, next meeting.
Yeah, so will we do it as part of this meeting?
Next one.
Yeah, okay.
Tony, did you catch that?
Yep.
All right.
You sleeping?
I was gonna say, he hadn't said much, so I had to make sure.
I'm working pretty hard to hear everything, but I'm
Alright.
keeping up.
And the next meeting would be October,
What is that?
October 18th.
Right?
Yeah,
any reason not to just do it right at 7 o'clock as part of our main meeting?
That's what we usually do.
Yeah, okay, okay.
October 18th,
That's
17th?
18
18.
Okay.
is Monday.
Okay, so we have motion to have a public hearing during the October 18th meeting for the proposed language amendments. We have a second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay.
Got
He
it.
was an
Sorry.
I heard
Yeah, I
it.
heard him. Sorry, Tony. I cut you off there, but we got it. All right. There's nothing else on items of business. I want to go back under other items and just ask a quick question. Last time we talked about A1 storage and that they weren't meeting. Has anything changed with that?
I've noticed they're doing stuff, like they paved and they're, looked like they widened their driveway or something. I don't know. I was like.
I don't know if you guys have
I don't
looked at it, but they have done some paving and they put up the fence, but they put up a shanky fence backwards. So they have the wrong side towards their neighbors and like there were pieces that didn't quite fit and so they supported them with some other pieces and it really looks terrible. My opinion.
And they didn't do all the paving that they were supposed to. The throat there should be paved as well going in. So I've got a call into Healthman as well. So.
You gotta talk loud, Pete.
I
It's
have
up
a
here.
call into Healthman as well. So that, yeah, to get those results, because I really want to talk to them, because at a certain point, we also may have some building code issues.
Which, you know, that, basically, we've been trying to work with them, and now they've made a little headway, but we still, I mean, we're still kind of one step forward, 10 back, maybe. I don't know.
Well, it's frankly, it's developers like this that the city may want to consider bonds.
And we have done that before, but it was a subdivision.
Right,
know,
I know, but.
That's about the only time we ever do something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we, the A1 storage had issues. We still got some issues over here with the building department and the lawn place and stuff. Not an issue one with the development of that site, but so do you want to say to him, give us a $15,000 bond
Right.
when he's not the bad guy? That's the frustrating part. And you always run into that.
Okay,
We'll just we'll keep pursuing that, and then there are, from time to time pops up, there's some other established, uses even from 10, 15 years ago, that things have changed on. Do you want to go back on those too? That this becomes an enforcement question. Continual. Enforcement is no fun.
That was just a quick question. I brought it up last week or last month and just wondered. So any other items of discussion that we need?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second that.
Okay.
So I knew neither one of you two opposed that one. Right? Neither you told either?
Yeah.
Yeah.